Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Couch. I'm a swine sales manager here at ADA Enterprises. Today, I'm here with Tom Stensrud. Tom, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe your position here with us at ADA?
Uh, I'm the president and CEO of ADA. I've been president since 2001. Started here in '89 as a sales marketing manager, sales manager, working for my family, my dad, my mom. We started off as a manufacturer and marketer of pig flooring, and we over the years went all over the world with our pig flooring. We did a lot in Europe, did a lot in the Caribbean, the US of course, and Canada. With the ups and downs of the pig market, we migrated a bit into other areas in order to stay busy. We got into research animals, we got into veterinary clinics, pets. We also got into outdoor furniture business, and basically solidified our company so that we can always be strong and be there for our customers when they need us. But the flooring has been our backbone for a long time, and where it kind of started was with farmers who had a need. They were raising pigs on concrete, and it was wet and it was abrasive, and this was a solution for them.
So, how did ADA get its start in the swine industry? You might have touched on it just briefly there, but.
So my dad worked with his parents. They were a construction company. They built Butler buildings, and at the same time they would remodel barns. And my dad was remodeling ventilation in a barn in southern Minnesota, and the farmer who was at the time raising his pigs, kind of the state of the art, which was over a deep pit on concrete slats. And he had fairing crates on those concrete slats, and he was disappointed in how hard it was on the babies and on the moms. Right, it was slippery, it was wet.
Sure.
The pigs all had kind of skinned up knees from when the abrasiveness of the concrete as they were nursing, and they were wet. And so what he did is he had a relative, I believe, that had the ability to make I think he made mud flaps out of PVC, plastisol, and they thought, well, what if we dip this expanded metal in this PVC and then put that on top of the concrete slats? Would that solve our problem? And it did. And my dad saw that and said, wow, that is really cool. And that day they started two companies, one to manufacture and one to sell. And my dad's company was ADA Enterprises that he started, and to sell that flooring.
Sure, well, that's some foresight into kind of our history, and they definitely had the innovation to try and make the swine industry better. What are some of the most significant changes you would think of our flooring throughout the volatility and the longevity of 50 years of our company, 51 actually? The industry is always kind of changing. What are some of the most significant changes that you would think?
Well, the size of the farmers, right? Back when we first started, we made sheets of expanded metal that we sold. I think we had 5x7s were the only standard size. If a person wanted a 5x3.5, you could have that for the back half of the sow or underneath the middle of the sow. And then we just took a 5x7 and cut it in half. So that was how it kind of started. There was only one standard size. Well, nowadays, the farmers have gotten so large, and the science has gotten, and the genetics have changed, and each one's different, so they all have their own custom size. So we make, everything we do basically is almost custom these days. But I remember when I first started, we would run an ad in Modern Hog magazine or something, and we'd get all these leads, and we might get a little order. And we had I think 2 or 3 flatbed 1-tons, and I would take one of the flatbed 1-tons with that guy's order on it, and maybe it was 5 Ferro floors, and I'd put 25 Ferro floors on there. And my dad said, come back with an empty truck and checks in your pocket. And that's kind of how I got my start selling. But those days it was all 5x7s were the size. Dad was disappointed at first with, we'd have this Ferro floor that would last 10 years. Well, the only part that wore out was underneath the sow, So he thought, well, if we had good supports and if we could make the center replaceable, that floor could last a long time. So I think in the mid 80s, I think he came up with a clear span ferrule, which basically made the frame and the creep sides all one piece and self-support and all dipped together, and then inserts for under the sow, so every place they could wear would be able to be replaced. And in those days, he started off with it being a flat floor, but in the 80s, people started saying, you know what, if we had a raised center under the sow, we might save some pigs or have a little better nursing. The theory was in those days, is because the sow's udder is rounded, if the sow's laying on her side, there might be another couple of nipples that are exposed because it's elevated that 1 inch. And the other thing is when she gives birth, that she's laying on her side, you know, the birth canal is right about on one of those raises, right? So sometimes that little baby pig, fresh out of the birth canal, just slips down that 1 inch and is over on the creep side and free and safe away from mom. And some farmers didn't care if it was raised or not, and some farmers mandated it was raised. So we said, well, the easiest way to make that floor is to make it standard, and so we made everything raised, and we would custom do it flat if a farmer wanted it, but it really took off.
Yeah, there's whenever I talk to some producers and stuff, I think there's quite a few floors out there still that we did in the 80s that have the replacement pieces that we just sell them replacement pieces every 10, 12 years, and they're still farrowing on the same floors. So what are you most proud of here at ADA's? Being the president, we have quite a few employees. What do you think is one of your most proud accomplishments or something you're proud of?
Well, I think the people. I mean, we really have really good and people that work here. We've gone through some tough times and some great times, and we've managed to just make our relationships both with our employees, with our customer or suppliers, and our customers, suppliers, and our employees all so good. I mean, that's what I'm proud of, is those relationships.
Sure. What's a favorite memory you have throughout the 51 years of our company being in existence? Memories.
Well, my biggest sale was probably one of my favorite things. It was probably 1989 or 90, and I was working with at the World Pork Expo. I've been to every World Pork Expo. I've not missed one. The first year I was here, I was a World Pork Expo there, and I've been to every one. And for a number of years, there was a fellow in the Dominican Republic that I worked with, and we started a relationship in Des Moines at the World Pork Expo that for 3 days we sat and negotiated. He didn't speak a word of English, and I didn't speak a word of Spanish in those days. And at the end of the show, we agreed on a deal, and it was amazing. There was a deposit required for the order, and right there at the show, he looked at his girlfriend and asked for the money, and she pulled out a roll of $100 bills, rolled the long way, probably about that big around. And he, right in front of everybody, was watching. It was really fun watching that guy give me $40,000 in cash, and everybody was watching, and I felt pretty big. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's cool. Who would you think are some leaders in the pork industry, whether it be in the U.S., Canada, Dominican Republic, that you mentioned that really helped ADA succeed and maybe helped yourself throughout the years?
Well, there's a number of them. I mean, I think about different times, especially in the pig business, with it going up and down over the years prior to us having, kind of a stable supply of stuff. There, we had some really good, my dad, of course, and his vision. But with customers, there was we had at one time a Canadian distributor. His name was Roy Unger, who basically set up a lot of our Canadian customers. But most of our Canadian customers came from him, and especially in Western Canada. It's a number of people have taken turns,
Sure,
making sure that we were good, and we've had some really good relationships. Some of them are very old.
So what's a word of encouragement that you would give someone that's either looking to get into the equipment side in the swine industry, or maybe someone that's thinking about joining the industry in the sales kind of side of things? Maybe what's a word of encouragement or something you could tell them?
Well, I think especially, there's ups and downs in the pig business. The really the cool thing is that, you know, people always have to eat, and pork is an important product through all over the world. Pigs never stop wearing things out, and by selling and manufacturing things that, you know, last a long time, when things come around, people don't want to have to replace and repair. So when for instance, with our products, you know, you can span those bad times with a product that lasts a long time, as opposed to having something that doesn't last long. It can be wearing out at the same time as you don't have the money to replace it. So we have a product that lasts a long time, and we feel pays for itself in just a couple of years, and after that, it's all profit, right?
Sure. So what's something you like to do outside of work when you get a minute? Minutes might not be too many, but what's something you like to do for fun with your family or whatnot?
Well, I like the outdoors. I like water, so I take a trip or two up into the wilderness, get away from everybody in the canoe, and I enjoy that.
Just being in God's country, right?
Exactly.
Being outside.
Yeah, right.
But thanks everybody for watching. We hope you learned something. We appreciate you for taking time out of your day, and thank you, Tom. Everyone have a blessed day.